Joining me now to discuss, Democratic Congressman from Illinois and co-chair of the Ukraine caucus, Mike Quigley. Congressman, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
You heard the president's words today. You've spoken to the president about Ukraine. You've been to Ukraine yourself more than once. I want to play the way he phrased the need now for this aid package and get a sense from you as to its impact. Have a listen.
Make no mistake, today's vote's going to be long remembered, and history's going to judge harshly those who turn their back on freedom's cause. We can't let Putin win. Say it again, we can't let Putin win. It's in our overwhelming national interest and international interest of all our friends. Any disruption in our ability to supply Ukraine clearly strengthens Putin's position.
Strong words. How concerned are you that they don't work and that this aid package does not get passed anytime soon?
The fact that we're this far into the process and we haven't got it done concerns me a great deal. I was just in Kyiv a month ago, and they're obviously very concerned. This delay and the threat of further delay or no funding at all has already impacted the war. It showed a lack of resolve by us to our allies and adversaries, and worse yet, the Ukrainians have had to start rationing their munitions, as any sensible army would, because they simply don't want to run out. So that threat makes this far worse.
So Republicans, sensing an opportunity here, have wrapped up immigration reform in this, and they're not going to move. The president said himself he's willing to make significant compromises. Senator Mitch McConnell, he said he's open to compromising with the president here. Can you help us understand exactly where that negotiating space is right now? What are the Republicans demanding, and how far do you think Democrats are willing to go?
Yeah, first, it depends on which Republicans are we talking about.
Yeah.
Early on, the Senate Republicans were saying additional border assistance and asylum policy changes. Now, House Republicans and some Senate Republicans are saying H.R. 2, which is this dramatic barrier to any sort of asylum policies. If folks are willing to compromise, we've got a shot. But as soon as you tie one foreign policy objective to the success of another one, inherently controversial and complicated, you beget this continued stagnation that we have here.
Let me ask you this. I've spoken to lawmakers, Republican and Democrat, and some will say that a lot of Democrats, particularly border state Democrats, are actually open to changes. They see the numbers coming across. They see a system overwhelmed. They see migrants moving around the country. I mean, is the dirty little secret to some degree that Democrats would not mind significant changes to immigration policy along the border as it relates to asylum in particular?
I think the president signaled a long time ago they'd favor more assistance, and I think the majority of Democrats favor more border assistance to protect our borders. Obviously, there'll be those who are against any sort of change, but I do sense that they'll be willing to look at compromises in asylum policy. But again, this is the kind of stuff, we needed comprehensive immigration reform years ago. This is the kind of stuff that takes months to hammer out.
That's the issue, is it not, right? Because it's a complicated negotiation to try to squeeze into these couple weeks before Christmas, right, in effect?
Because we blew 3 weeks ousting a speaker for the third time on the Republican side since I've come to Congress.
I mean, is there a chance, I don't mean to try to, extract a victory from the jaws of defeat on Capitol Hill. You'll only lose a lot of money in Vegas doing that. But is there a chance that somehow this comes together here? Because there's been discussion for years of some sort of immigration reform and some sort of bipartisan plan. You got the president, you got the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell saying they're willing to compromise. Is it possible that something comes out of this on immigration and the aid comes through? I mean, I don't mean to be Pollyanna here, but
well, I'm a Cub fan, so I'm forever optimistic. Yeah. Look, nothing happens, and suddenly there's a big breakthrough. The problem here is really twofold: the complexity, inherent problems that we face with immigration reform, coupled with the fact that it's a different game now, because the Republicans have let the farthest extreme right dictate policy. It's the tip of the dog's tail wagging the body politic. So this speaker has to recognize that he faces the same fate that Speaker McCarthy did if he's viewed as compromising with the other side. And in a divided government, he simply has to.
This, I think a lot of people forget in this, that it's not just Ukraine aid. That's the largest portion of this, but it's also Israel aid, and it's also aid to Taiwan. So these are three countries, three allies that are under threat from Russia, from Hamas and Iran, and from China. What would the message be, not just to Putin, but to Xi Jinping, but to Iranian leaders if this fails?
They're all watching this, and they're seeing a defeat for helping Ukraine as a victory for them as well. And obviously, what I think some people fail to recognize is it's all tied together. Putin hosted Iran and Hamas weeks after October 7th. Iran has helped through training and military assistance Hamas, and they are giving drones to Putin. So everything's tied together, and it's a complex world. We can't shelter ourselves from it. So in the end, we have to recognize this is all tied together. We need to pass these together. At some point in time, we have to get to immigration reform. But you threaten the success of those other ventures, and you send a terrible message to our friends and our foes.
We're definitely watching. Congressman Mike Quigley, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.